the entertaining has to stop. So you'll need some tasty ideas for your football games or for Gasparilla. Yes, Gatsby is back. So today we brought in our cheese expert, Mr. Michael Landis, and we are doing fondue this morning. How are you doing, first of all?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. We're glad to have you back. Happy 2022.
Yes.
And I have to say congratulations on the success of your book.
Thank you.
You brought it.
That's right.
Here today, here it is. Beer Cheese Stories. Tell us a little bit about the book for people who missed your last segment last year on the show.
It's a collection of stories from building cheese boards and also pairing cheeses with beer. And it goes all the way from lagers all the way to stouts. There's 12 segments in there.
Yeah.
And there's over 300 pairings with beer and cheese. And there's a cheese board. There's 12 cheese boards with a lot of information and basically helping you also learn how it works together. So you can work it very easily by picking the cheese or picking the beer, and you can see all the things that pair with it. And it also tells you why. And then there's stories with the cheesemaker, with the brewer that I conducted these with.
Right, and you highlight some local breweries, which we just love. But let's get to what you brought here today. And you are pairing this fondue with beer, and we're going to start from the very beginning, right?
Right. Well, you think about it. When they were making fondues, they probably weren't using wine. They were using beer.
Yeah.
So beer has been in the mix for a very long time. So in ours, this is a classic Swiss fondue.
Okay.
It is Emmentaler. This is Emmi Emmentaler, Emmi Gruyere, and Fontina. Now, a lot of people use Emmentaler, but I find it to be just a little too hard to find around here.
Oh, I see.
A little bit of garlic in the bottom of it. That's it.
First.
That's all we have to do. Just a little bit there. All right. And then we're going to add our beer, and this is going to be our liquid for it. And then we use a whole 12 ounces of beer.
Wow.
I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. All right. And then we heat it up to a nice simmer.
Okay.
All right. And then as it simmers up, we just wait a little bit for it to come up to temperature.
Okay.
And then we're going to add our cheese.
Got it.
All right.
And we have the Swiss, like you mentioned earlier.
That's right. Well, you know, fondue means to melt. So what it was used as a protein, or it was added to potatoes.
Yeah.
So it's been around for a very long time. When you look at the classic formation of this, in other words, the cheeses that you use, Emmentaler is always the base because it's you know, when you taste Emmentaler, it's got a little bit of buttery flavor, but a little hint of bitterness. When you warm it, oh, it comes buttery and nutty.
It comes alive, right?
It does. It does. They're actually meant to do that.
Okay.
And then we have Gruyere, which has a little bit more nuttiness to it. And then we have usually Emmentaler, like I said, but it's a little more earthy. I'm using Fontina because Fontina melts really well, and it also adds a nice little buttery flavor to this.
Okay.
All right. Now, as this starts coming up to temperature, we get a little bit of bubbling going on.
I see
it. Warms up. All right. Then all we're going to do is we're going to add in our cheese. Now, these are the 3 cheeses that have been grated up together. But one thing that I did with this is I added in cornstarch.
Oh.
I added in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch.
Why is that important?
Because it'll stop the butter from separating.
Got it.
And so you get the real nice flavors there. And all you have to do is just start adding it in, and it'll start melting together.
Okay.
All right. Now you can use a figure 8 or just circle around or anything like that. But as it starts melting in,
and then you just continually add more cheese.
we just continually add more cheese. It'll
Okay.
start melting in.
Now, you prepared for this segment last night, Michael, and you made 3 different fondues for us that are over here. I'm trying the Swiss right now.
That is
right?
the Swiss.
And so you have a few things that we can dip into this Swiss fondue. You have apples, you have some veggies, and you have some bread, right?
That's right. That's very classic to it. You know, you can use potatoes, or you could use mushrooms or things like that. I mean, you can put anything you want in it. I know. It's all about butter and flavors, right?
This is so good. Wow, that's delicious and perfect for a party. You can have these done, and then everyone can just get their fondue and dip.
Yeah.
Now, what is this right here?
That is cheddar. And so that's Tillamook cheddar. Now, Tillamook has a farmer's version of this, and it's a farmer's collection, and I'm using their extra aged white cheddar in 8 ounces, and then I added 4 ounces of their smoked black pepper to it.
Okay.
And then to fill it in, to give it some more, a little bit more butter flavors, I added in the Emmentaler, or the Gruyere.
And
the
now
Gruyere adds a nice flavor and a butteriness to it.
Michael, sorry to interrupt. I see you have some sausage here with this one. There's also bread and apples like we saw with the Swiss, but why is sausage good with this?
Well, you know, when I looked at it, and bratwurst and sausages all really work really well with it, you know, because the cheese and the flavor, the characteristics that they work out, and it also adds in almost a dinner version of that.
Okay, we're running out of time. You have one last, so you have some seafood paired with, as well as that bread and apples. What's this last one?
Okay, this is Brie. So this is Alouette. Now Alouette comes in a creamy version, so you don't have to remove the rind, but you have to remove the rind when you're doing the fondue. So, you know, there's typical Brie styles. You can use just about what you like. I like the Alouette because it is just so creamy and buttery. And then I either add like a Camembert or like Supreme, because Supreme's really buttery and rich. But here's the thing, if you feel that you can't do any of that, they make a pre-made version of this. This is Emmi, and it's their fondue, and you open it up and you put it in a pot and you serve it. That's all you have to do.
Always has an easy hack for you guys, and you have beer paired with each one of them. We'll put this on our website. You have an event coming up where you'll be talking about the book and sharing some beer and cheese stories. Where is that taking place really quickly?
That's at Aprons. They're Publix Aprons Cooking School in Tampa, Lakeland, and Sarasota.
Perfect. I'm going to give your website so people can go connect with you and find out about more of your events happening in 2022. Michael, thanks again for joining us. Hey, you can find out all the details by heading to mdlandis.com.